Hi, this is Galgor. Welcome to episode 1 of the Darkness Within Chronicles. We have our intrepid hero here, Lord Reginald IV. He is a halfling. This is going to be using the Ironsworn system, but set in the Forgotten Realms. You can check out the introductory video that I've posted if you're wanting any more information. One thing that I've had to change was that I was using the base stats, and I've changed wits now from 2 down to 1. Lord Reggie and his companions are sitting around the campfire. They've just discovered some very important information concerning the relic that the cleric had been carrying around in his backpack for almost a year and a half and had done absolutely nothing with. So, cleric, why haven't you looked at any of these runes before? We've only now found that they have come directly from Lathander. My attention has been on other things. I have daily rituals, daily prayers. These were far more important than the trinkets in my backpack. Trinkets? These were not just mere trinkets. We have discovered that they have come from Lathander herself, and you are the bearer of them. Have you not learned anything from your prayers? The gods are at war. Lathander has little time to answer the prayers as one as lowly as I. But if you have the relic, surely a god would listen to a bearer of such importance. But what about studying them? These may have great importance to the war that we know is coming. If Lathander had wanted me to study these, she would have given me a sign. If you weren't so blind, you would have seen the signs. How often does some sparkly dude turn up mentioning the relics? How often does Lathander's right-hand cleric approach you and find out why? And to find out, are you so blind in your faith that you can't see these signs? How do we know that that cleric was the second in command? She stormed in. She was rude. One does just not... No, you're right. One does not talk that way. But still, should she come to you? And give you the box that she claims is there that will help assemble this relic. I need no help from some would-be cleric. The last time we saw her, she was hanging out with a vampire. What was his name again? Strad. It makes no difference what his name was, or who she was hanging out with. Surely her word should be taken. At this point, the darkness that is within Reggie, that has been seeping, that is slowly eating at the back of his mind, whispers in Reggie's mind. He is such a fool. He has such power and does not know how to use it. Maybe we should get it. Imagine what we could do with it. Reggie thinks to himself, it's not the first time that I've thought of it. I've already pissed off one god these last weeks. I don't need to piss off a second one. Then get him to assemble the relic. Get him to read it. It will help us both. No, this is not something that will help us. You are a fool for not listening to me. If I was such a fool, just no. At this point, the elf has paused as he looks at Reggie, because it's been the longest that Reggie has not said anything in probably a week. I have one wish left. I wish that so-called cleric had never met that vampire. The air crackles with magic. And there's a blinding flash. Reggie is thrown through the air, landing on his back. The last thing that he is aware of, as unconsciousness takes its toll over him, is the low yes in his mind. This is even better. An unknown amount of time passes as Reggie slowly gains consciousness. His head is ringing. His mouth is dry. He puts one hand down onto the ground and slowly, eyes shut, sits up. His eyes slowly roll open. And it takes a moment or two for him to take in his surroundings. He is no longer around. His companions, they are all gone. The campsite is gone. Where am I? What's happened? A low chuckle at the back of his mind. You. I don't know what has happened, but you are somehow to blame. Whoever you are, however you got inside me. I swear at this point, I swear by the very blood that runs through my veins, that I will do what I can to ensure that I get you out of me. Again, a low chuckle. So at this point, we have Reggie's remove the darkness within. I've marked it at an extreme. So this is going to be our overarching sort of storyline. So he's going to actually have to try and find out what is inside and how he can basically remove it. But he is currently in an area that he's unfamiliar. He sits back up and he wonders. The adrenaline of the vow is surging through his body. All he can see is that he is surrounded by trees. Unfamiliar to him. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to find out exactly where he is. All we know is that he is in a wooded area. So we're going to ask the Oracle, try and get a little bit of information as to where we are. what we know about this area. Some descriptors concerning the area that he's in. And it's 88. Forgotten. So this appears to be a forgotten woods or a forest. We can think about what the theme 64. The structure. Right. He looks around. He's unable to recognize any of even the trees that are in this wood. These aren't local to the area that he was in. As he's looking, he can see a trail, or the faint markings of a trail that lead to another clearing up ahead. So he cautiously gets up, hand on his dagger ready just in case. And with the stealth that cautious, deliberate steps, he follows this path. The path slowly widens a little bit, becomes a bit more used. The clearing is not so much of a clearing, but there's 3 or 4 trees that have been joined together. You can't work out whether they look natural, and he has no talent for magic, so he's unable to know whether there's any magic involved. But he's going to slowly make his way to the trees. So at this point, he's going to make a gather information. He's going to look around, see, just before he gets too close, just see what he can see. He's never been the brightest. So on this, his wits is 1. He rolls the... Oh wow. Now, things of note. My wits roll is 7. that is higher than both of the die 10s, so it's a strong hit. But not only is it a strong hit, I've actually got what they call a match. My 2 die 10 actually equal. So at this point in time, I have a strong hit. I get 2 momentum. So that currently takes me to 4. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn, ask the oracle if unsure, and take 2 momentum. So I'm going to ask the oracle. So when you seek to resolve questions, discover details in the world, determine how other characters respond or trigger encounters or events, you may draw a conclusion, ask a yes or no, pick 2 options, rate 1 as likely, or rate 1 as rate 1 as likely, and then roll on the table. So I'm actually going to just get an action and a theme here. So my action is 72. I find, yay, and 56. I have found advantage. As Reggie's studying the area, he can hear the clank of metal on metal, a shuffling. He is going to hide. So he's going to use stealth to try and hide and see what actually comes of this. So we're going to face danger, and because he's using stealth, he gets to add shadow, so this is going to be a +3. Okay, so right, I used the wrong dice, but that's alright. I have a 10 and a 2 compared to 8. So it is a weak hit. On a weak hit you succeed, so he's successfully managed to seek some cover. But it took him slightly longer than he would have liked, and has so lost the point of momentum. So now he sits at 3. Making their way into the clearing, Reggie spies 2 animated piles of bones slowly ambling their way. They appear to have no purpose. But with slow, purposeful motions, one reaches into the quiver, pulls out this arrow. It knocks it, and just as the top point as it started to knock, the tip bursts into magical fire. Reggie thinks to himself, what's going on? The second skeleton does the same thing. They appear to be looking at the trees. It's only at this point that Reggie actually noticed that there's a door that he hadn't seen before. Only about 1.5 feet tall. The bows are at full pull. So at this point, Reggie has to make a decision. Is he going to enter the fray, or does he sit back? So he's going to enter the fray. Now, other than a few pieces of jagged armor, I would rate these troublesome encounter, but due to the fact that there's two of them, I'm going to take it up to a dangerous. Because he is hidden, I am going to give him the initiative. We'll see what happens. He's going to move into a position of an unaware foe. So I get to roll with shadow, so I get to add +3. So a 7, so a 4 plus a 3 goes to a 7 on the die 6, compared to a 3 and a 5, so that's a strong hit. On that strong hit, a dangerous foe. Now, I could take these as individual, but what I've done is I've combined them into one enemy. That's why they're now dangerous as opposed to troublesome. So I was looking at my combat talents and I have cutthroat. I should have done it before I rolled it, but this is the first time, so I'm going to just say that I'm going to get +2 harm. A dagger is a combat weapon, so I believe that so a combat, while it's a dagger or a short sword, it still counts as a deadly weapon, so I inflict 2 harm. It's going to go to 4 harm, and then my enter the fray, I actually get to mark 2 progress per harm. I have the initiative, so I get to take, on a strong hit, I then take 2 momentum, and I have the initiative, so momentum now goes up to 5. Strike the one in front of me. Now this is going to be striking with iron. My iron is 1. Extremely well. That is a miss. On a miss, your attack fails and you must pay the price. Your foe has initiative. So, I need to pay the price. When you suffer the outcome of a move, choose one. Make the most obvious negative outcome happens. I think at this point in time, the most negative thing for me is that both of them set out, let loose their arrows, and the the arrows strike true on the door. And the trees that are a part of this structure has now started to catch light. Right. Now they have the initiative. So I am going to clash. Again, close quarters. I would like to be able to put some distance between me and them. Unfortunately, I am unable to. So let's have that is another fail. Right, this time I think I'm just going to actually have to pay the price of enduring. As I go to duck to position myself into what I consider an advantageous position to be able to strike with my dagger, has only allowed the skeleton to bring down the bow and crack me on the head with it. So I get to add a dice, and I'm adding either my health or my iron, whichever is higher. So in this, actually, my health would have been 3 at the time if I go down. So that then means that it's still a weak hit because 2 goes to 5, which is higher than the 3. Don't have enough momentum to turn that to be able to burn to get rid of that 7. So I've pressed on. I've got to be able to try and somehow need to get the initiative back. Unfortunately, it's another clash. Wow. That's a 3, and I get a match. So, not only do I miss, I pay the price, I also have the match. And because I failed, let's see what happens on a match. I'm going to ask the Oracle to see what happens. So I'm going to pay the price and see what. I'm going to roll on the table and just see what happens. 35. The current situation worsens. Okay, well, I think what's going to happen here is the fire has now spread all of the trees in this little area. So there's smoke and there's embers flying everywhere. This fire is spreading quicker than a normal fire. There is something unnatural. And you can, Reggie can hear this, the weak crying out of a voice. With all the smoke and the wall of the fire. The smoke and the noise is making it very hard for Reggie to get his bearings at the moment. 3 misses in a row. This is not good. Once per fight, when you risk it all, you may steal initiative from your foe to make a move, not a progress move. When you do, add +1 and take 1 momentum on a hit. So I get +1 to the dice roll, and I get, if I'm successful and get a hit, I get a point of momentum. If I fail, I suffer dire consequences and I pay the price. Oh! Okay, a match and a strong hit. Okay, so I've managed to use the smoke and the blaze to my advantage. Whatever is, or whoever is controlling these skeletons, assuming anybody is controlling them at all, they are unable to find Reggie, so he manages to position himself. So what? He's attempting to, well, I'm going to say on the strong hit, on the match, that not only did he's not going to have to roll, he's actually managed to get in behind them, so they are unaware of where he is. So he gets +1 momentum, so that takes him up to 6. I'm going to say that he's, because they've lost sight of him, it's going to allow him to, no, he's going to, if you wield a dagger or a knife, he's using his cutthroat ability. When you're in a position to strike at an unsuspecting foe, choose one before rolling. Add 2 and take 1 momentum on a hit, or inflict 2 harm on a hit. I think I'm going to inflict the 2 harm. Okay, so I get a weak hit. 5 goes to 6. Don't have enough. But a weak hit, I still get to inflict my harm. So it's 2 harm plus another 2 because of the cutthroat, so that's 4 harm. And on a dangerous foe, 2 progress per harm. So that takes them all the way up to 10. I have the initiative. No, I have lost the initiative. Their movements are slower. They're now drawing out their daggers, their swords, rusted blades at their sides. And Reggie does his best to fend them off, so he's going to have to clash. So this is using his iron, so +1. A weak hit. On a weak hit, inflict your harm, but then pay the price. The foe has initiative. Because the foe has initiative, I cannot end it. Paying the price. My health goes from 3 down to 1. not liking this. This is not how Reggie fights. He hides and fights from the shadows. Another clash. Another weak hit. So he takes 2, so that takes him down from 1 to 0. But because he doesn't have any health, it now takes it off his momentum, so that goes from 6 down to 5. Another clash. What can I do? Oh, I can actually endure harm. Right, so that's what I should have done at the time. So let's have a endure harm. A weak hit. Health at the time was 1, so I got a miss. Suffer 1 momentum, and if you're at 0 health, you must mark wounded or maimed if currently unmarked, or roll on the following table. So I'm going to roll on the following table and roll 70. You're battered but still standing. So clash again. A weak hit. I cannot turn it. I've used my turn the tide. So my momentum goes down to 3. Facing harm, rolling on here. Oops, wrong dice. Oh, great. $37. You are reeling and fighting to stay conscious. If you engage in any vigorous activity, such as running or fighting, before taking a breather for a few minutes, roll on this table again before resolving the other move. As he goes to strike, the energy that he requires to fight on is just, there's nothing left inside. And as he swings his arm weakly, he falls over, unconscious. Lucky for him that the skeletons at this point snap to attention. One turns its head a complete 180 degrees, sees the fire blazing around it. At this point we see the door that was closed before has been opened. Noting that the building is alight. That the forest is on fire. The head spins back around and the skeletons walk away. It's dark. Reggie's eyes slowly open up. His entire body is filled with pain. As he starts to get up, he feels slight pressure on his chest. Really small pressure, but it's enough. We'll lie back down. You're wounded. Lay there. Reggie's voice. His mouth is dry. The words struggle to form on his lips. What about the fire? We are away from the fire. I used my magic to get us away. Lie down and let the healing salves that I've applied to you, let them just start to work. With a grunt, Reggie looks like he's about to sort of protest and get up, and then slumps backwards. And again, darkness takes him. So, at this point, we're going to leave it. Hopefully you can join me next time to where we should hopefully get the answer of where Reggie is. Thank you.